Heyo, welcome back to Art with Ashleigh Monet. Me. Now, eagle-eyed people might say, wait, something looks familiar. Didn't we see you in that same outfit in the last video? Well, yes, it is because I am currently recording this video at the same time as the other one. I'm going to post that one first, so if you're watching this now, it'll be the last video I posted, and it is where I customize shoes that I got from the thrift shop, and oh my god, is this video taking me so long to get together. There's just so much downtime between waiting for paint to dry, waiting for weather to clear up, waiting for supplies to come in. I've been kind of sitting and twiddling my thumbs, and finally I decided, okay, I need to use this time productively. I should just record another video, but at the same time, I was like, well, what can I do? I don't have enough time to actually do one of the videos that I have on my to-do list, something that's been well thought out and planned. I kind of need to just come up with something on the fly, something short and easy. But having to come up with something on the spot, I was drawing a blank. I had nothing, nada, zilch, total creative block. So I thought it would be the perfect time to crack open this. Small Art, a coloring book for creative block. This is my bestie boo Creative Paula's latest coloring book. She sent me it a while ago and I just didn't know when I was going to be able to use it. But as I was sitting here trying to figure out what to do with my time, I was like, perfect time. Let's actually do this. So yeah, enough of me talking. Let's jump right in and see what I can create. So this book is divided into 3 sections, and the first, which is probably my favorite, section 1, short prompts. So the pages in this section literally have just that. Short prompts that give you really clear and concise directions for what exactly you should be creating on those pages. For example, the first page, make these pups seasonal. And you're given 4 cute little puppies and you're supposed to make each one of them represent one of the 4 seasons. I love prompts like this where it's like, boom, you know what to do right away. There's an instant inspiration and you can jump right into creating. I think prompts like this are just the best for when you have that creative block because there's minimal brainstorming required. When a prompt is super vague and open-ended and you can go so many ways with it, then it's really hard to settle on an idea. So to start the book out like this, where you're pretty much told exactly what to do, make this look like wood, make this look like crystal, make this look like fabric. It's so easy to just jump right in. And then once you put something on the paper, once you get into the groove, naturally, I think those creative juices just get to flowing. So yeah, love this portion of the book in particular. But then the next section is section 2, bookmarks. Now, Creative Paula usually has at least a couple of bookmark pages in her normal coloring books, so this is nothing new or unusual for her. But again, I do love that some of these do have those short prompts, very specific prompts for how to design the bookmarks. But this is where you kind of start shifting from the, okay, I've told you what to do, now you can start doing it yourself. And there are some that don't have any prompts. They're just kind of easy to color images where you can do whatever the heck you want on them. I love that. And then the third and final section, it is the small art. And this is where you're fully let off the leash, total freedom to do whatever you choose. After all, your creative juices should be flowing from the first 2 sections. There is a little checklist here at the beginning with ideas for coloring styles and trends. So if you get stuck, you still do have some support to guide you, which I like that because I know I personally have a few of these styles and trends that I've been wanting to try. I just usually forget that I want to do it. Well, boom, here's the list and I can check back to remind myself. But yeah, these are all just small, relatively simple drawings that you can color in yourself. And they're all 4x6, so you can put them in a frame after if you want to. But yeah, that is this book, and I can't lie, since I'm at a loss for what to create while I wait, I'm definitely going to start in this first section with the prompts that tell me what to do. Starting with the seasonal puppies page. Our summer puppy is first. Now, I don't just want the puppies to be dressed for the season they represent. I want them to completely embody the season. So for summer, this puppy has a little spot around the eye that looks like the sun. I'm also giving him some water wing floaties, swim trunks, and flippy floppies. He is ready for some fun in the sun. Now, thinking of a summer color scheme, my mind goes straight to yellow and blue. It's like, I don't know, the sun in the pool. Bright and cheery. I'm going to do yellow for the puppy himself, but I'm going to use a few different tones so that he definitely has like a spotted dog look. Then we'll go blue for the swim trunks and flip-flops. And the water wings are going to be a fun see-through yellowy orange vinyl plastic. With the base colors down, we can then go through and add some texture. That shiny vinyl look to the water wings, yeah, need to work on that. And of course, the furry texture for our little pup. He needs to look deliciously petable. And then we'll add a little bit of shading on his summer outfit. You know what? I want to take my micron and actually draw in a little bit of fur fluff for our boy. That'll be super cute. Let's go in with a white colored pencil and give the swim trunk some stripes. And then a couple of juicy highlights to finish it all off. He's cute. I love it. Okay, on to the next. It's the winter pup, so naturally I have to start by getting him all bundled for winter with mittens, a scarf, and a little winter beanie. Now, I wanted the puppies to be similar, but definitely not like the same dog across different seasons. Maybe they're litter mates, though. They certainly have the same markings, with the exception, of course, of that eye spot. This one may look like it's just a circle spot, but actually it's a snowball, because, you know, winter. And right away, I knew the puppy needed to be an icy blue, like no other color says cold weather quite like blue. But no doubt, now this puppy seriously has Blue's Clues vibes. We gotta warm up this cold little pup. I want the winter wear to be a nice deep red. Favorite color. Love it. And I decided to draw in a little knitted texture to all of them. One, to make them look a little bit cozier, but two, I actually think all those extra lines helps camouflage a lot of the lines from the original drawing. Time to add in the puppy fuzz texture and shading on the clothes. Then finish as always with the highlights. I gave this pup some very subtle sparkle, the way that the snow kind of sparkles in the sunlight. And then he was finished. So cute, so snug, this one. Let's move on to puppy number 3, our spring pup. This one's going to be a girl, so in a very cliche move, I'm going to add a little bow on her head. Since she's representing spring, her little eye spot is going to be a flower, and I'm putting her in the sweetest little spring dress. For colors, I of course had to make her a cute little spring green. Spring is when everything turns green again, so I could not resist. But when it comes to spring, I also think of all of the flowers that are just beginning to bloom again, and that makes me think pink. So that's the color we'll go for her bow and her dress. Now, like her two brothers, she needs that fluffy puppy texture, and her dress needs some shading. But then I went through with my trusty paint markers to cover up the original drawing lines. I will say I normally love these paint markers, but something about this book, they just did not want to cover the lines. Not sure why, because they've worked on this Amazon paper just fine in the past, but it was just soaking them up. Several coats were needed to get the job done. Let me clean up the line work, and then I could add a whole goo-gob of flowers to that sweet little sundress. Cute. I actually love this one the most so far. She's precious and definitely springy. Last pup, we're going fall. My favorite season, so there's some serious pressure for her to be my favorite puppy of the bunch. Yes, we're doing another girl this time. Her eye spot looks a little like a heart, but it's actually inspired by the autumn falling leaves. And like any true fall girl, she's gonna have a hot little pumpkin spice latte and a thick sweater. Best parts about fall for me are definitely the warm seasonal coffees and sweater weather. Just the ultimate feeling of coziness. Now, colors. I want her to be orange. Between the falling leaves and pumpkins, I feel like orange is the go-to autumn color. But I also love a deep olive green. Something about that color feels very fall to me too. So we're going to use that for her bow and her sweater. And like all of the others, we finish up with some texture, some shading, and a few final juicy highlights.
Oh, I just love her.
And there it is, our seasonal pups page, all finished. I love each of them, but the two girls are definitely my favorites. I wonder if that has anything to do with those 2 seasons being my favorite seasons. Fun page though, really. On to the next page, and we have 2 fancy little ice cream cones. Color these to be opposites, like delicious and nasty, dark and light, or healthy and decadent. We're going delicious and nasty, of course. Starting with the delicious ice cream, I added a swirl of whipped cream and of course topped it all off with a cherry. Then gave each scoop of ice cream a yummy syrup drizzle. I didn't know what these were, but I turned them into those little wafer straws. Oh, and can't forget to add some waffle texture to the cone as well. Now it's time for some color. I used a light toasty brown for the cone, as well as the lighter swirl of the wafer straws, and the caramel drizzle that will go on top of our vanilla ice cream scoop. You see, I want to do a bit of a Neapolitan, with 1 scoop being vanilla, 1 being strawberry, and 1 being chocolate. And oh crap, I just screwed that up. The top scoop was supposed to be the chocolate one because I want the whipped cream to sit against a chocolate drizzle, not a strawberry one. I guess I'll have to hope the strawberry can cover that up, but let me shut up and really focus on this coloring. This is looking quite scrumdiddly-umptious. All we need now are a bunch of juicy highlights. And I can't resist doing some sprinkles here. That looks so good. Now let's absolutely destroy the other side. How about a toe? I think that's the most unappetizing thing a person could find in a dessert. And also, not sure what this was supposed to be, so I went with a classic wafer. This ice cream scoop gets a little drizzle as well, but wait until you find out what it actually is. I couldn't resist transforming this little whipped cream dollop into a tiny pile of brain matter because, I just love drawing brains. This round thing was begging to become an eyeball. Ooh, and let me add a little cockroach or two scurrying about on top of this not-so-tasty treat. And if you know me, you know I've got to add some teeth in there. I'm obsessed with teeth. How about a few little maggots crawling in this scoop, too? Ooh. And is this ice cream melting, or is it something more nefarious? We need to make sure this dessert looks good and stinky, too. Okay, I know so many of these components look standard, like the cone and wafer and cherry. Worry not, though. They may look normal now, but they are actually rancid and rotting. My first scoop is going to be the most unappealing color to me, a grayish blue. What flavor might that scoop be? I don't know, maybe like dirty dishwater? Whoa. We'll do a brown scoop, but it is not chocolate. We wish it was chocolate. Alas, it is poo-poo flavor. Blech. That probably makes this last scoop not seem so bad, but it's dumpster juice flavor. I went with a sickly green, which is a color I personally really like, but certainly not one that looks yummy. Time to color our brains a delightful pink. And these drips, not melting ice cream, but rather dripping blood. And now we can go in with some colors. We can really do this up and make everything look truly disgusting. Foul concoction needs a generous helping of juicy highlights. Oh, it's looking so rancid. And then we can clean up the line work and done. I love this page. It was so fun. I love the contrast of yummy on one side, yucky on the other. I get to play with the two types of art that make me happy, super cute and aesthetic, but also creepy and grungy and gross. Yes. Good times were had, and now we can do the next page. We have an assortment of fruits here, and it's our job to make them look like these different specified materials: wood, crystal, fabric, stone, plastic, and slime. Let's start with wood, which is pretty simple. I started by dividing the pear into vertical panels for each wood slat, if you will. I do a base color of a lightish brown, then using a slightly darker brown, draw a little bit of a line texture on top to give a faint suggestion of color variance in that wood. Then with an even darker brown colored pencil, I can draw in the wood grain, which I'm not gonna lie, it's one of my all-time favorite things to draw. We've got the little swirls to look like knots in the wood, and then you just kind of keep the rest of the grains very random, obviously going vertical, but put some bend in them. Make the spacing between each one very inconsistent. That looks the most natural. Next up, crystal. I started with altering the line work to have only straight lines, then added some more straight lines to the inside of it to kind of make the apple look like it had a bunch of facets, the way that a crystal would. Then it was time to add the color, and for this one, I wanted to have a color shift from like clear crystal to deeper purple, kind of like an amethyst. That's what I'm picturing in my head. Then I used white colored pencil to emphasize the edges and really define those facets more. Then sparkle highlights. So many sparkle highlights. Onto fabric. I thought this one would look super cool as like a cut open apple where you see the seeds and the core and all that. I added the line work to make the inside look like a quilt. So the embroidered edge would be red, the skin of the apple. The seeds and stem would be brown. The leaf of the apple would be green, and the center of the apple would be a very light peachy tan. To really sell the quilt concept on that, I need all of these fabric panels to have a different pattern as well. Then I needed to work on the embroidered elements. I just used colored pencils to create the illusion of the stitched texture. I've seen this technique done with alcohol markers, but these areas I'm working with are so small, I just don't think I would have been able to pull it off with anything other than colored pencils. pencils. But when I was finished, I went through and then reworked all of that line work, adding a couple extra stitch lines in, like around the border. I think I achieved the fabric look, but we're moving on to stone. So for that one, I started by adding a few cracks to the apple, then adding bits of a dark warm gray in a very patchy kind of spotted way, just trying to create that stone texture. Then I went through and used a slightly lighter warm gray, added even more of those stone texture spots, if that's what you can call them. And then finally, I used an even lighter warm gray to just color over everything. I don't know if I'm happy with that, especially because the darker spots are really hiding those cracks I drew. So I went in with white colored pencil just to try and highlight some of those imperfections again. Then of course, I'm going to go over all that line work. I'm keeping the outline real wobbly though, so it looks more like stone, which, isn't usually super smooth. I'm not sold on this one, but let's just go ahead and pivot to plastic. I decided to make this apple yellow just because I already did red with the fabric one, and spoiler, I'm going to be doing green for the slime pear. So yellow was like the only apple color I could do without being repetitive. I don't know if I like the yellow though, especially I feel like it somehow makes this look like a bell pepper instead of an apple. But the goal here was really just to keep the blends super smooth, and this one needed just the biggest, the juiciest highlights to capture how smooth and shiny the plastic is. Pretty simple, really. On to the slime pear, which is the one I definitely was most excited to do on this page. I love the line work on this one, adding all of those little drips. Oh, so fun. Now, as a 90s kid, when I think of slime, I'm hardwired to believe it has to be green. Maybe it's the Nickelodeon thing. Maybe it's Goosebumps. I don't know, but to me, slime equals green. And the way I went about coloring this one was to keep the green lightest around the edges and add darker green kind of radiating from within. Then I needed to cover up those original drawing lines, and once again, my paint markers were not having it. It continued to be an issue this whole video, and I have no idea why. I shook them super well. They worked great on other paper, but like I've said, I've used them in Amazon books before without this happening. Maybe it was a fluke, but I did not appreciate it. Whatever, we got there eventually, and then I was able to go over the line work and add all of the juicy highlights. To me, this is the sublimely perfect level of highlight. The plastic highlights were a little chunky and excessive, but slime highlights, oh, chef's kiss, perfectly juicy. And this is the finished page. I had a lot of fun with all of the different textures. Other than the stone, I'm pretty happy with all of them, but the slime pear, that is just everything to me. Next page, and yeah, I truly haven't skipped a page so far. Like, they're all so good. But for this one, we have some fancy, sweet, special drinks here, and we need to color them according to the prompts. A vampire, your favorite character, and a mermaid. Done. I love it. I'm going to start with the vampire drink. This drink gives an overly cutesy vibe though, so I do feel obligated to add some more, vampire-y elements to it. I'm going to draw a little edible decorative coffin popping out of the whipped cream. And this little heart just feels too innocent to scream vampire. So I'm going to turn it into like a fancy gem brooch, make it a little bit more elegant and gothic. And hey, it gives me another chance to do that crystal facet thing. I don't think I did it real great on the last page. Maybe I can do it better this time. And a vampire drink simply needs vampire fangs somewhere. I wanted to make the coffin look like it had like a cross inlay, but I had no idea why I thought I could do it freehand. That's not a thing. Let's sketch it out first. Yeah, that's better. I can dig this. Now let's jump into color. I do feel like based on the original drawing, I was kind of locked into this drink needing to be strawberry flavored. I mean, sure, I could have covered the strawberries with acrylic paint, done something else, but I didn't really want to do all that work. And I didn't really have a problem with it being strawberry. I figured the drink would be red either way, so it would look like blood, and well, strawberries are red, so the strawberries can stay. That was a really unnecessarily long way of me explaining the obvious that this is a strawberry drink. For the actual drink though, I am going to swirl a very deep burgundy color along with some bright red. I really like that. I wanted to incorporate some kind of dripping blood element, so I'm going to go ahead and give the whipped cream a strawberry syrup drizzle that looks very much like dripping blood. Moving on to the coffin and the straw, which will both be black. I start with a medium gray though, because that's going to be the color where the highlights hit. And then I can start adding the shading and darkening it up. I foresee the straw being a fun black glitter, but first I wanted to add more drips, and I needed to break up some of this red. Red gem on a red drink. We need some separation. It's not you, it's me. I love that. And now, it's juicy highlight time. Yes, yes, yes. I love this. Now let's pop over to the mermaid drink. This one's edible decorative topping is going to be a little set of mermaid fins. And I love the existing stars on the rim because they can easily become some cute little starfish. I assume this is supposed to be a boba drink, but on the subject of mermaids, all I can see are pearls here. So I decided to draw in a little clamshell, like that's where the pearls are coming from. To be honest though, in hindsight, I could have just gone with pearls, no clamshell, and I think it would have looked better. But oh well, it's time for some color. I knew I wanted to stick to the cliche mermaid colors, which to me are purple, blue, and green. So for the drink itself, I made it a purple gradient, but the clamshell needed to be purple as well, so it really doesn't stand out. That stupid clamshell might as well not even be there at all. Regrets. But I went with blue for the seahorses. Seahorses? Starfish. Also the straw, but don't get too attached to that part. Then the mermaid tail fulfills the green for our mermaid color scheme. Seeing them all together though, it didn't feel super mermaidy. Like I would love for those three colors to be in a gradient. And suddenly I had regrets over not making the drink part a purple, blue, green gradient. I decided I would try to get that effect by doing it on the straw instead of just blue. It's not great, but it's something at least. I got the idea to add bubbles to the drink using my colorless blender. And I love the pearl effect I achieved here by adding a little swoop of pastel purple, green, and blue on them. It's so fancy. And I didn't want drizzle on this one, but you know what we can do instead? Sprinkles. I liked them until I outlined them. Why did I do that? This is me hating it. But I will say once I started adding all of my juicy highlights, I tried adding a highlight to every sprinkle and that made them look a little better to me. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I was a little hard on this one. Looking at it now, it really looks fine. I think I just love mermaids so much that I had really high hopes for this one, and I just don't feel like I fully did it justice. Maybe I can redeem myself with the final drink to be based on my favorite character. I feel like the sketch on this one was pretty visible, so you all could probably tell before now that I have chosen to use one of my characters. Yes, that sweet little bat face could be spotted from a mile away. For this drink, we're really going to lean into that cuteness. I want a cute little classic striped straw, and we'll do those cute pearly round sprinkles. For the extra decorative topping, I'm going to do a pair of little bat wings. Now, I'm sure the expectation is this will be a drink inspired by Gwenny, my channel mascot, but nay. You see, ever since I made her girlfriend, Blanche, I've been obsessed. The truth is, I think I like Blanche more than Gwenny now. But hey, I'm pretty sure my whole family likes Cody more than they like me, and that's okay. I'm not offended because he's awesome. I'm sure Gwenny feels perfectly fine giving Blanche the spotlight here. So for the drink, we're really going to focus on the Blanche color palette. The warm pink of her nose and ears, the creamy whites of her fur, and the precious baby blue of her eyes. Fun fact, in my last video, the shoe customizations, I had a white pair of Converse that I intended to dye gray, but for whatever reason, the dye turned them green. I had to pivot away from my original idea and I made some amazing Voodoo Victor shoes, but I never shared what my original idea was. Well, it was Blanche. Those were going to be Blanche shoes. Perhaps one day if I find some gray shoes, I can still make that idea happen in the future. I don't know. But yeah, that's how much I love Blanche. I love the black glitter straw in the vampire drink, so I thought, hey, what if I do a full-on glitter drink for Blanche? Sparkle, sparkle, sparkle. I mean, it's cute, but I kind of feel like I bombed the glitter effect a little here. It could have been better, but I do really love the Blanche drink. And looking at all of these together on the finished page, I do honestly really like them all. Sure, I could nitpick here and there, but overall, these are all super cool drinks. All right, now, if I'm honest, there are just so many other really cool mini prompt pages here that I would love to complete someday. But if I want to get to other parts of the book, I just have to move on. Let's jump ahead to the bookmark section. And I think, okay, yeah, there are so many good ones here. I want to do them, but I'm really feeling drawn to the paint tubes. I'm gravitating toward that. because I kind of have a fun idea and it's actually not to make it a bookmark. What? Well, as part of my More Monet Gold tier memberships on Buy Me a Coffee, shameless self-promotion, I actually posted a bonus video of me making this phone case insert for Mermaid. It is June, Pride Month, ayo! And I want to make a new phone case insert for that. Now, these bookmarks aren't quite the right size. They're too narrow and long, but I think I can fix that. I have my trusty phone case insert template, and I could just lay it over the bookmark design like so, trace around it, and there we have the outline for our phone case insert. Kind of crazy how it lines up so well. It was meant to be. So my plan for the design, I love the idea of the paint being rainbow, and the rainbow is just being squeezed out of a boring gray paint tube, like the pride is just bursting. And since I wasn't satisfied with the glitter effect on my Blanche drink, I want to do the glitter effect again for this paint. I mean, if there's ever a time to sparkle, it's Pride Month. Knowing that, I wasn't worried about the lines from the original bookmark outline. I figured the glitter effect would help me hide those pretty easily. Trigger alert for the rainbow police of YouTube. I always color my rainbows green, blue, purple, pink, orange, and yellow. I hate trying to blend green and yellow, so I put them on opposite ends of the spectrum, and people love to yell at me every time for that. If it bothers you, look away. But I consider this rainbow, and that's how I'm gonna do it, okay? Not gonna lie though, I was dubious about the word pride on the tube. I wasn't sold on it. I always end up hating my hand lettering, and it felt a little like this was just dragging everything else down. But I didn't want to rush to judgment, so I kept moving forward with it. I was cautiously optimistic. Went in with my paint markers to cover up those lines, and oh yeah, that issue looks familiar. I swear, I was ready to punch a wall with how these were behaving in this video. Time to tackle the glitter, which in big sections like this actually became really tedious and repetitive. So while I take an eternity on that, it did occur to me after the fact that some people might be offended that this design does not include the full current pride flag. To be honest, I didn't even think about it. I just wanted to do rainbow, but to clarify, I do not want to leave anybody out. We love the LGBs here. We love the T's, and we love the QIA pluses, okay, everybody? Speaking of feeling excluded though, pride has felt a little bittersweet ever since Cody transitioned, because now we appear like a cis hetero couple there as allies. It's like on the surface, we lost our gay cards. Still though, it's a time of year that I love to celebrate, and hey, if I look like an ally, that's fine because allies are essential in supporting the cause, and we love you guys. Okay, time to add the real sparkle here, which I hate to spoil it, but I didn't end up super happy with that either. My glitter redemption redeemed nothing. I think I did okay in the individual color areas, but I created a little extra sparkle in between each color, and now I feel like I shouldn't have done that. It just added too much separation between each color, and I think trying to blend the two colors would have been a better route to go. And I still hadn't warmed up to the word pride, so I tried making that glittery too, hoping that could save it. Spoiler, it could not. So while I contemplated what to do about that, I started coloring in the background black. That was always the plan for the insert because if there is one color that makes that rainbow really pop, it's black. But then I decided to take it further and black out that label. You know what we do. When in doubt, black it out. For funsies, added a few dissipating sparkles on top of the black. Really makes the paint look like it's radiating sparkle. I actually really like that part. At this point though, the tube was almost completely lost. So I went around everything with a white outline. Okay, off camera, I tried to whiten the label so I could do something different, but you can see the marker from the pride letters is just peeking through. So instead, I'm just gonna try and layer a new piece of paper on top with the new design. I still want the pride vibe, but we're staying away from lettering. So I'm just gonna do a rainbow glitter heart. Keep it simple. There we have that. Now let's cut it out and glue it in place. Nice. Now we just gotta touch up that border and ooh, I want to add some radiating light around these sparkles and maybe some soft swirlies in the background. I was happy with that. So then it was time to cut it out of the book and then trim it down to size so it fits in the case. And then it was good. It was fine. I should have left it just like that. But pride is not subtle. Pride is over the top and I wanted more sparkle. So I opted to add a holographic glitter laminate over the top. And oh boy, there is nothing subtle about that. Definitely nailed the over-the-top aesthetic. I sort of feel like the holographic makes it harder to see the art, but ooh, I do love the sparkle and shine, sparkle and shine. Let's pop it in the case, and there you have it. New phone, who dis? Turning what's left of this page to the next one. I want to actually do a bookmark now. I love these little potion drawings, and there is one more coloring style that I really want to try. So to make it easier to work on, I'm going to preemptively cut this bookmark out of the book. And then to make sure it won't end up a super flimsy bookmark, I'm going to put a bit of glue tape on the back and attach it to some black cardstock. And now we can color it just like this. I'm feeling another rainbow pride type of design, so I'm going to add a couple of extra hearts to bring our total up to 6, one for each of the colors, and I want to add a tiny bit more detail to the big human heart. The coloring style I'll be using for this one is neon. I love the look. It's so much fun to do, so let's give it a go. Step 1 is to color the background black. Now, of course, I couldn't just leave it at that. This potion bottle was just so cute. I really wanted to make it not neon, but more detailed, like it's a real bottle just sitting in a black void with the neon elements inside. I don't know. We'll see if that concept works. Now for the neon, and I am loving this aesthetic lineup of all my neon acrylic markers as well as a corresponding colored pencil for each. We're gonna start with the green. Yes, again, that's my rainbow, okay? And we just start by covering the existing outlines with the paint markers. I'm gonna use each color for one of the little hearts and all of the colors together in the big heart. Okay, some people don't do this step, but I love it. I take the matching colored pencil and add a little bit of a radiant glow coming from around the edges. And then for the best part, the part that sets the whole thing off, I get to use the juicy highlight pen and add the inner glow for everything. This was looking so good. I just needed to finish off the bottle. And then I very sloppily cut it out. I will do a proper cut at the end, but this is just so I generally know the size and can decorate the back. I'm going to keep it super simple on this side and just write the word love with a few hearts. Oh no, she's writing again, but don't worry, I'm not doing any bells and whistles, just simple. Did the same colored pencil radiant glow technique. And of course, the bright white center of the neon. I chose to laminate both sides so this bookmark would be nice and durable. And after a proper trim and some corner rounding, this is the finished bookmark. I love it. It's fun. It captures neon. It captures pride. And what a super fun final little activity. This was a really fun little book. I think it was great to start off with some straightforward prompts. I did obviously still get to use some creativity, but when the prompt tells you exactly what to do, it gets you out of that art rut. You don't have to think up a concept from scratch. I really love these pages I was able to do. They were super fun, and ultimately it was these prompts that kind of jump-started my creativity, if you will, and got me to then get out of this book and make some really cool things. I love this Pride phone case insert. I love the fun neon bookmark. Yeah, this was just a very useful boredom buster, something to fill my time while I was working on that other video. And at the end of the day, I walked away from it with the creative juices flowing. So yeah, highly recommend. I had a lot of fun passing my downtime in this little book. And I felt so freaking productive. Like I filmed 2 videos at one time. Now that I'm done with both, I'm gonna get to editing the shoe video first. So by the time you see this, the shoe video will be up already. And I'm hoping this one will be a bonus video kind of midweek before moving on to my next weekly video, which is another Create This Book episode. We'll see if I can pull it off. It's going to be kind of a crazy week because my mother, Mama Monet, is having a surgery and she is going to be staying with me while she recovers. So hopefully I can get the editing done, lickety split. I'm going to try. But thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.